Enchanted Parks is a relatively new theme park operator. They acquired Enchanted Forest and Water Safari in 2024, hence the name Enchanted Parks. Then they acquired a half dozen former Six Flags parks in early 2026, including 5 theme parks in Michigan's Adventure, Six Flags Great Escape, Six Flags St. Louis, Valleyfair, and Worlds of Fun. The chain now has 39 roller coasters, so in this video, I will rank the new chain's top 25 roller coasters. Starting off the list at number 25 is Flashback at Great Escape. This chain has 3 Vekoma boomerangs, but this is easily the best of the trio. This one is always way smoother than usual, but is extra comfortable with the new train that features vest restraints. This eliminates any chance of headbanging. This ride has 2 tummy-tickling drops and a trio of ultra-forceful inversions, which are particularly disorienting in the backwards leg. Number 24, Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis. This roller coaster is an amalgamation. Arrow started building it, but they went bankrupt, so Vekoma finished it. So this ride is undeniably janky, but I'm tall enough to avoid hitting my head. The first drop is a nice pop of airtime, the vertical loop is strong positive Gs, and the Sidewinder has a terrifying head chopper at the lift chain's return. Number 23, River King Mine Train at Six Flags St. Louis. This Arrow mine train meanders through the woods. It's a nice setting, but the layout is mostly tame. The finale is great though. The final drop has a surprisingly potent burst of airtime in the rear car. Number 22, Spinning Dragons at Worlds of Fun. This is a Gerstlauer spinning coaster. The first drop is punchy since you take it sideways, then the helixes offer good spinning, and the finale features a little airtime off the final mid-course, a fun bunny hill, and a disorienting turn. Number 21, Pandemonium at Six Flags St. Louis. This is a near clone of Spinning Dragons, but this one tracks a little better, and it spun a bit more for me. Number 20, Mad Mouse at Michigan's Adventure. This Arrow Wild Mouse has putrid capacity, but it is one of the best rides of its kind. The start has solid laterals on the hairpin turns, then the second half has better airtime than usual for the genre. Most hills offer tiny pops, but there's one bunny hill offering some genuine ejector airtime. Valleyfair also has an Arrow Wild Mouse, but that one does not run nearly as fast. Number 19, Wolverine Wildcat at Michigan's Adventure. This Din Wood coaster has a nearly identical layout to Phoenix at Knoebels. The first few bunny hills have solid floater now, but the rest of the hills only have a smidge of airtime. Then you get some laterals and the unbanked turns, and with all the recent track work, it runs relatively smoothly now. Number 18, Screamin' Eagle at Six Flags St. Louis. The wood coasters of this park are quite temperamental. This John Allen creation was my favorite ride at the park in 2018, but it ran considerably worse in 2020. The wooded setting was still excellent, and the ride was still smooth, but the small hills were lacking negative Gs, and the stronger floater moments into the turnarounds now offer just weak floater. Number 17, Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. This Din Wood coaster is a shell of its former self. The ride got rougher, so the park reprofiled the layout to be less aggressive and added trim brakes. There are still a few shockingly strong airtime moments in the first half, but this coaster really fizzles out. It feels like the train will valley in the return run, so forget about any forces there. Number 16, High Roller at Valleyfair. This old school wood coaster is glacial pacing, yet most hills offer a little airtime. Then you get some genuine ejector airtime in the outward legs giant camelback and the final bunny hill. Number 15, Excalibur at Valleyfair. This is a bizarre creation from Arrow. You have the track and trains of a mine train, but a few ejector airtime moments rivaling a hypercoaster. You are launched out of your seat in the first drop and small S hill. The ride is dreadfully short, but the airtime, lateral, and speed combination makes it memorable. Just know it's a bit bumpy in the valleys and turns. Number 14, Steel Venom at Valleyfair. This is the best intimate impulse coaster out there. This is because it still has the holding brake. This gravity-defying maneuver is downright scary. Then the rest of the ride is an adrenaline rush between the speedy launches, blasts of positive Gs in the valleys, and plentiful weightlessness on the spikes. Number 13, Patriot at Worlds of Fun. This is the weakest B&M invert, but it's still a fun ride. The vertical loop and Immelman have some light positive Gs. Then there are 2 odd spots of airtime and a corkscrew with some snap in the second half. But there are some elements that miss the mark, particularly the 0G roll, the big camelback, and the helix. The ride is glass smooth at least. Number 12, Wild Thing at Valleyfair. The prototype Morgan Hypercoaster starts off strong. The first drop and camelback have oodles of floater airtime. The turnaround section is drawn out, but it does have some cool visuals of the Route 76 area. Unfortunately, the mid-course trim saps most of your speed, negating any potential airtime on the returning bunny hills. Number 11, American Thunder at Six Flags St. Louis. This GCI wood coaster is another that ran weaker for me in 2020. The layout was still jam-packed with airtime hills, but almost every moment was mild floater. Most of the wood coasters I placed higher have far stronger airtime moments. Number 10, Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun. This is a funky hybrid coaster from GCI. After a spiral lift hill, the ride is a terrain-based layout that does a lot of zigging and zagging. There's only a little airtime, but the pacing and sense of speed is fantastic, and those directional changes offer sharp laterals. I do wish the ride tracked better and that the restraints were not as tight. Number 9, Mamba at Worlds of Fun. This is another Morgan hypercoaster. The start has similar floater airtime to Wild Thing. The turnaround section here is superior though, between the positive Gs and frightening head choppers. When I last rode Mamba in 2023, the mid-course trim was off, so the return run offered some amazing airtime. But it has since been turned back on, so I believe the bunny hills merely offer weak floater now, which was my experience when I first rode this coaster in 2018. Number 8, The Boss at Six Flags St. Louis. This is a monstrous CCI wood coaster set in the woods. I know some find this coaster rough, but I think it tracks fine. The first half has these speed hills with laterals and airtime. Then the larger drops off the turnarounds offer solid negative Gs as well in the back. The start of the second half has been severely neutered by a mid-course trim in all my rides, but you rebuild enough speed to get fantastic airtime in the last 2 hills. Number 7, Bobcat at Gray Escape. This is a small-scale wood coaster from the Gravity Group. It does not have the ejector airtime of the company's other small-scale woodies, but this rides nice floater airtime on every hill, and it has quick pacing. The biggest downside is the short track length. Number 6, Batman the Ride at Six Flags St. Louis. This Baljar Mabillard invert has been cloned a dozen times, but it is a powerhouse. This one runs particularly well both in terms of the intensity and smoothness. All 5 of the inversions are uber snappy. Then the vertical loop pummels riders with positive Gs as well. Number 5, Comet at Gray Escape. This historic PTC wood coaster is relocated from Crystal Beach. This is a large double out and back coaster with a seemingly endless series of airtime hills. There are several hills towards the middle with some sharp pops and or decent floater. I particularly like this kinked hill on the backside combining vicious ejector airtime and sudden laterals. And the park takes such good care of this ride. The recent track work has the return leg running faster than past years. Number 4, Prowler at Worlds of Fun. This is yet another GCI wood coaster. This one hugs the ground and dashes past trees. For an out and back layout, it is surprisingly agile with the repeated directional changes. The outward leg has solid sustained floater airtime. The middle section has decent pops up front. Then the return leg has good bursts of negative Gs for all. This ride can be moody, but it was great for me in 2023. Number 3, Mr. Freeze at Six Flags St. Louis. This premier launch coaster is arguably the most intense coaster in the chain. This ride uses an LIM launch to blast riders backwards out of the station. Then the inverted top hat is a mind-bending blend of airtime, laterals, and positive Gs. The following overbank is pure positive Gs. The vertical spike offers super sustained weightlessness because of that bizarre mid-air launch. And because of the shuttle design, you get to experience the overbank and top hat a second time around. Number 2. Renegade at Valleyfair. This is one of GCI's best layouts. This wood coaster has plenty of speed, and the layout is unique, with most of it taking place backstage. You have these smaller hills with sustained floater airtime, and turnarounds with briefer, but fiercer airtime pops. I have heard this ride has gotten rougher in recent years, but I found it plenty tolerable when I last rode it in 2022. And coming in at number 1 by a wide margin is Shivering Timbers and Michigan's Adventure. This CCI wood coaster is one of the best rides in the world for floater airtime. It is a simple layout, but it is nearly 1 mile of camelbacks and bunny hills. Almost all of them offer super sustained and strong floater airtime. Then as icing on the cake, the far turnaround and helix finale offer extreme laterals for some variety. Those are my 25 favorite roller coasters in the Enchanted Parks chain. What are your favorite rides in this chain? Let me know down in the comments. I am excited to see what the chain does in the future, particularly in the coaster department. If you enjoyed this countdown, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.